Hello everyone. I wanted to first start off this video by apologizing with the light source. I am using natural light today. I am outside because it's pretty nice out, and also the lighting inside my room, which I usually film in, is really sucky today, so we're not using that today. So again, I apologize. This is probably very, I don't even know what to call it, but it's gonna have to work for now. So you probably already know by the title, this video is very, very different from my usual videos. 'Tis not a discover yourself, and nor 'tis it a makeup tutorial, nor 'tis it a Halloween makeup tutorial. So today is just a plain talking video. It was not a request, but it was something that I thought I needed to do for two different reasons. And the main one is because just because I have heard a lot of people just in general talk what is their genders there and different things like that. Because not all the time, and I know definitely not in school, which is unfair, but I know some schools are changing. Usually, you know, like for the ASK or the PARK or, you know, whatever kind of test like that, or the SATs, stuff again like that, they usually have like your name, your last name, your name, middle name, and then, you know, like, male, female, one of them is selected, which I don't think is fair, because, for example, say you were born as male, but you identify as female, well, on the chart, it's going to be filled in as male. Or the opposite, if you were born female, but identify as male, it's most likely going to be filled in as female. But what if you don't identify as that? But also, more importantly, this is what I mean. On a lot of other things, or even on some other tests, especially with doctors, things like that, they just have male, female, other. What is that other gender? Throughout this entire video, there are a few things I want you to keep in mind. Your sex is what you were assigned at birth. Male, female, or both. It is determined by your genitals, vagina, penis, or both. Because there is that rare occasion where they have two. However, it is, again, very rare, but also, that is your birth sex. That is what you were assigned at birth. I was assigned female at birth, and I am cisgender, but we will learn about that other. Gender, your gender, is what you identify as and how you feel. Your sexual orientation has nothing to do with your gender identity. And yes, these are labels, and we'll talk about them, but you don't need a label. The best thing is to just be you. Even if you fit into one of these categories, there shouldn't be a need to label yourself as anything. You can just be you, and that's the best part ever. But you can identify with a label if you choose, obviously. And also know at the beginning and end of this video to respect others, their labels, and their identity, and their pronouns. So yeah, let's get on to it. Number 1, cisgender. Cisgender is what I identify as, and it is probably the most common or most well-known gender. It is pronounced cisgender, not size, or at least that I know of. I could be wrong. And cisgender just means that you identify as the sex you were born as. My assigned sex from birth was female, and I identify as female. So that's all it means. But, of course, you don't have to be this way. So what if you aren't cisgender? What if you do not identify as the sex you're born as? Well, obviously, that's what we're going to be talking about, too. Number 2, transgender. First things first. Transgender is more of an umbrella term used for those who do not feel or wish to identify as their original birth sex. Most often is the opposite, which is like, for example, and again, this is an umbrella term because it's really false for anyone. So, if your sex, when you were assigned at birth, was male, however, you wish to identify and feel female or feminine, then you would be transgender. You do not necessarily have to have the surgery to identify as transgender. I know this subject can be very confusing, but just try to definitely listen, and the more you keep watching this video, the more it'll all kind of make sense. Also link down below a video by basically a professional who kind of works with mental health and things like that. Her name is Autumn Hospital. She's very good. I believe she made a video on the different genders as well, and I will link that down below for you because that is a very good video as well. Number, let's see, 3. Genderqueer. Genderqueer is another broad term for people outside of cisgender. They can identify as no gender, another gender, or move between genders. Number 4, agender. Agender falls under the genderqueer umbrella or term. They have people who identify as agender feel they have no gender, so they don't really feel female, feminine, nor male, masculine. There's a YouTuber named Chandler N. Wilson who is agender. Chandler's birth sex, as they mentioned in a new video, was that they were assigned female, and I believe that agender prefer they and them pronouns. So you would say he or she, it'd be like, oh, they turned 16 today, not she turned 16 today, or he turned 16 today. So yeah, agender just means that they don't feel really any gender. Number 5, bigender. Bigender also falls under the genderqueer category. Someone who is bigender can identify with two genders, not genders, genders. So sorry. So yes, bi, meaning like both, almost just like, again, bisexual. However, keep in mind that your gender identity has nothing to do with your sexual orientation. I'm just trying to make, a connection here for you all. So yeah, they can identify as two genders. However, more than two genders would be polygender, but bigender just means you can identify as two. Number 6, genderfluid. Genderfluid also fits into the genderqueer category. Those who identify as genderfluid or are genderfluid move between genders. Unlike bigender, they don't identify simultaneously. So that's the only difference. But they are more of a single gender, if that makes sense. I know, again, that this can all be confusing, but I am trying to help you out as best I can, and I hope this does help. And also, my friend Sierra has a friend who identifies as genderfluid, so I think that's pretty cool. Number 7, androgynous. Someone who is androgynous feels both masculine and feminine, male and female. They can identify as in between. And I'm sure they can, honestly, again, this entire video is just about identifying as whatever the heck you want. And to be honest, I actually thought for a minute I was androgynous because I felt feminine, but I also kind of felt masculine. But then I realized that it wasn't the right kind of masculine, if that makes sense, and I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it. So I decided to say a cisgender. My parents did not pressure me into being cisgender. Yes, they are very old-fashioned, however, they didn't really speak to me about genders in general. But either way, that's just a little input, and again, I hope this video works, and there is one more gender to be discussed. Number 8, other/third gender. Other or third gender is different than male and female. It is when someone identifies as another gender as a whole. It's a group that doesn't fit in with the other genders. Like, they don't really feel bigender, gender fluid, that they don't feel male or female. So basically, it's almost anything you want to identify as in a way. And it's definitely different from society, but it is different than agender. I know that I said it's different from female, male, and the other genders. However, it is not agender, and this is why. Because those who are agender, again, do not identify as any gender. They just simply don't. They don't feel that way. However, other/third gender do identify, those who are, they do identify as a gender. Just because it is not they don't fit in with the other categories, it doesn't mean they do not identify as one. They do, whereas again, agender do not. This was it for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. That really helps out my channel a lot. And my subscribers on this channel, along with my Sweet Dreams ASMR, has gotten so big. But no, it's kind of funny. The ASMR channel has more subscribers than this one, and it's kind of breaking my heart, but it doesn't matter. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and if you like this video, again, please give it a thumbs up. I make new videos every Wednesday and Friday. And if you want to hit that subscribe button over there, or there, or there, it's somewhere around, just hit it. Alright, I love you guys, stay strong, and just be yourself. Bye.